So we've seen how we can use the class module for any given form to add events to controls on your form. So far we've seen the button, and that's been able to disable and enable, showing, hide, and change the read status of an object. Now it is possible to add VBA routines to form actions. So if we take an existing form in our database, so we're still in the Sales Incorporated database, and we're going to have a look at the FRM item list. If we open that, it lists all of our products that we have for sale. Let's go into design. Now, if you want to see what the events are that are available for a form, firstly, you need to make sure you have the form selected. And then on the property sheet, you'll see it says form, and then these are all the form events. There are plenty of them to choose from. Luckily, the most common form events are near the top, and we'll run through the most common ones and how they work. The top one, the onCurrent, this is an event that is triggered when the user moves from one record to the next. So effectively, it's dealing with the current record. So if I want to add a bit of code to there, I click the drop down, choose event procedure, and the 3 dots take me into the VBA editor, into the correct class module. So the module sheet for this particular form. Notice there's already a couple of routines in here, but we're starting another one. All form triggers are in the same format, form. So it doesn't actually use the name of the form, it just says form, meaning the whole form that we're currently in because we're in a class module, _current. So that's the trigger. We're dealing with the current record. So when we move to a new record, this event is triggered. For the purposes of seeing if this works, we could add in a little bit of routine that says if the object is not for sale. So we go back to access and we view, we can see that they are available or they're not available. So we could check and say, well, if they're not available, let's disable the price. Because if it's not available, there's no point in being able to change the price anyway. Back into design, view code takes me back into the place I was. So we're going to check equals n, then. So if the item is not available, I want to disable the price. An item price dot enabled. So now I've got item price correct because the list of properties is correct. Enabled equals false, else, so it's not n, therefore the inference is it's y. Item price dot enabled equals true. End if. Don't forget that end if. Without the end if, the subroutine is not correct and it will crash. So let's go back to the form and see what happens. I've purposely chosen a continuous form so you can see the effect across all the records. So when I enter a new record, you can see that when it's in Y, price is enabled. When it's a no, all the prices get disabled. So it's not just affecting the one record when you look at affecting the control, it affects the whole control in the whole continuous form because effectively it is the same control. So I move into a no, it's still disabled. I move into Y, it becomes enabled, and then I can click in and change the price. You might think, oh, I could sneakily click into there now to affect the price and try it. And you can't, because as soon as that record becomes the current record, all the prices become disabled. So that's by using the _current. So design, view code, form _current. So the current trigger is meaning you are in the current record. Now the other options in here, when it comes to triggering actions on a form, make sure you choose the form and then it lists all the actions. The most common ones are onCurrent, which we've used, which creates a subroutine called form _current. Now you'll notice if we do the same for onLoad, it will create a subroutine called form _load. So all of the routines that are triggered by a form action all have the same syntax, form _ and then the trigger. Now load occurs when the form first opens and displays the first record. So effectively when you open the form, you could trigger something to happen, whether that's a message box or whether that's some physical changing of data. We have after insert, that's quite a common one. Again, in the access it's called after insert, and what you'll notice in the VBA is it's called form _after insert. Now after insert occurs when new data has been added to the table behind the form. That data has to be added through the form interface, not through an external macro or a piece of VBA that's done the insertion. It's only when the form that you're on actually does the inserting that this trigger will be tripped. On delete. So if a record is deleted using this form, we can use the form_delete action to trigger some further steps, such as making sure they actually want to delete that particular record. If they delete that record, we might be looking at taking that data and placing it in a backup table so we've still got it somewhere to refer to. So we have this step that we can trigger and then carry out some steps. And then probably the other most common trigger really for a form is onClose. So when you close the form, probably going to be able to guess here that the procedure will be called form_close. And without any surprise, it is. So the minute this form gets closed, this patch of VBA is triggered and will execute. So by various actions occurring on the form, we can run subroutines. Those subroutines can do anything that you're capable of doing within the VBA.